Good afternoon. This is going to be my video presentation on a real world mission that I performed in approximately 2003. As you know, I'm a combat veteran from the U.S. Army. I've been retired now for about 2.5 years. Before I retired, I had achieved approximately 3,000 flight hours. I've had well over 1,500 hours of combat time, plus over 1,500 hours of instruction time, some of which was in combat as well as a time as an instructor. So this is just the high points from a bridge mission that I did during the initial invasion of Iraq in 2003 with Bravo Company out of Savannah, Georgia. Highlights of the PowerPoint presentation are essentially we had took a Chinook helicopter with a full combat crew. We were tasked with picking up an 18,000-pound bridge to carry from Kuwait up to Iraq and set it on a river so that way third ID engineers could deploy the bridge, utilize it, and allow the third Infantry Division, mechanized infantry, to make their way across the river and into southern Iraq. That helped to achieve the ground commander's objective of securing the outskirts of Baghdad and later on Baghdad International Airport due to overwhelming authority from the ground as well as the air. During that mission, unfortunately, due to dust and wind conditions, we had to sit down and spent the next 3 days on the ground during a dust storm that was unforecasted. A lot of lessons came out of that because at that point the weather forecast didn't cover anything but 24 hours prior to the mission start time. Once the mission was completed, we went back and looked through doing an after action review and decided that from that point on, any mission that was going into territory that we were unfamiliar with would have a 5-day weather watch prior to the execution date and time. And then also forecasted weather for 2 days after the mission was completed so that way if recovery efforts needed to be made in case something went wrong, we had plenty of time to be able to react and to make sure that everybody came home safe. All in all, the mission ended up being a success. We were able to get the bridge deployed as it was supposed to be. The third ID commander was able to roll his mechanized infantry across and ended up securing Baghdad ahead of time and on schedule. Well, ahead of time, which is on schedule. Overall, we didn't lose any aircraft, but we did have one casualty due to enemy fire taking shrapnel in through his jaw when the bullets impacted the ramp of the helicopter. So 1 out of 4 aircraft sustained injuries. That single aircraft turned around and got lost in the dust and just headed south to get back to Kuwait and ended up flying home single ship. The other 3 aircraft that were in the flight landed and had no issues other than being low on gas. We spent a couple days out there. Some ground guys finally showed up, brought us some fuel, and we ended up flying home, and everybody made it home safe. And I'm here to talk to you about it 22 years later. Thanks a lot.